The room tilts. Not slowly. Not in a way you can rationalize or correct. One moment, you're standing at the head of the conference table, your voice steady as you walk through the final numbers, and the next moment, the floor shifts beneath you, like the world is rotating on an axis only you can feel. Your vision narrows to a single point, Merab's face across the table, watching you with that expression he always wears, patient, predatory, waiting. Your breathing sounds too loud in your own ears. You can hear it, which means everyone else can hear it too. The board members around you have gone quiet. That's new. They're usually talking, arguing, pushing back on whatever you're proposing. But now there's silence, and silence means they see it. They see the crack forming. You grip the edge of the table. Your hand doesn't shake. Your hand never shakes. Except it is shaking, and you're watching it happen like it belongs to someone else. The air in the room feels thinner. You've been in this boardroom 100 times, maybe 1,000. You know every angle of the glass walls, every reflection of the city lights beyond them. You've won here. You've crushed opponents here. You've made decisions that changed entire divisions while people watched and learned to fear you. But right now, the room is spinning, and you can't remember why any of that matters. There's a roaring in your ears. Not sound exactly, something deeper. Your body is telling you something your mind refuses to accept. That you're done. That you can't carry this anymore. That the weight you've been balancing has finally exceeded what your bones can support. You try to speak. The words don't come. There's just the sensation of falling, of control slipping through your fingers like water, of everything you've built and everything you've protected suddenly becoming too much to hold. But this collapse didn't happen suddenly. It was built, moment by moment, through a war you thought you were winning. You've been running on 4 hours of sleep for 3 weeks. That's not an exaggeration. It's a fact you track the way other people track calories or steps. 4 hours every night because the emails don't stop coming and the decisions don't make themselves, and there's no one else in this company willing to carry what you carry. The 4 a.m. emails are your signature now. The board knows not to expect responses before dawn because that's when you work. That's when the real thinking happens, when the office is empty and the world is quiet, and you can finally breathe without performing. Except you're not breathing. You're working. You're always working. Your reflection in the glass of your office window doesn't look like you anymore. The woman staring back has your face, but her eyes are different. Harder, hollowed out. You remember when you used to recognize yourself. Now you look at that reflection and see a stranger wearing your name. Conversations have become background noise. People talk to you, your team, the board, your assistant asking if you want coffee, and you hear the words, but they don't register. You respond, but you're not sure what you said. You've learned to nod at the right moments. You've learned to look engaged, while your mind is already 3 moves ahead on the chessboard. Merab is different. He's everything you are, brilliant, ruthless, untouchable, but he doesn't carry the same visible weight. Or maybe he hides it better. Maybe he's learned something you haven't about how to hold power without letting it hollow you out from the inside. You've respected him for years. That's what you tell yourself. Professional respect. The kind you extend to anyone capable of matching your moves on the board. But there's something else underneath it. Something your body recognizes even when your mind won't admit it. When he enters a room, the air changes. You feel it before you see him. A shift in pressure, a recognition that something more powerful has arrived. You've never let yourself examine that feeling too closely. You've been too busy winning. The deal arrives on a Tuesday morning, and you know immediately that this one will break you. It's not framed as a threat at first. It's framed as an opportunity. Meridian Holdings wants to merge with your division. They're offering a price that makes sense on paper, terms that are almost generous. Your CFO presents it like it's a gift. The board leans forward, interested. This could be the capstone of your career, the deal that secures your legacy before you move into the C-suite. Except Meridian is Merab's company. And the moment you understand that, you understand this isn't a merger. It's a hostile takeover wrapped in the language of partnership. He's not attacking directly. That's not his style. Instead, he structured the deal so that accepting it means surrendering operational control. The merger terms give his team veto power over major decisions. His people would integrate into your division. His authority would sit alongside yours, and everyone in the room would know exactly who holds the actual power. You can't let that happen. You won't. So you begin the counterattack. You're brilliant in ways that surprise even yourself. You restructure the division's assets so they're less attractive as an acquisition target. You reach out to other potential buyers, creating competition, driving up the asking price beyond what Meridian is willing to pay. You call in favors from board members who owe you, securing their votes. You work through the nights, building arguments so airtight that no one can argue with them. For 2 weeks, you're winning. But winning is costing you everything. Your hands shake during presentations. You notice it happening, and you ball your fists to hide it. You stop eating lunch because there's no time, and by evening, you're so dizzy you have to grip your desk to stay upright. Your voice cracks once during a board meeting. Just once, just for a second, but you see Merab notice it. He's always watching. He's always waiting. You make a move that's brilliant and devastating. You expose a flaw in Meridian's financial structure, something that would make the acquisition untenable. It's the kind of move that ends negotiations. It's the kind of move that wins wars. The moment you make it, you know it's unsustainable. You've burned bridges with people you'll need later. You've made enemies of board members who were on your side. You've sacrificed long-term relationships for a short-term victory. Your team is exhausted. Your company is bleeding resources. And Merab is still sitting across from you, patient and predatory, like he's been waiting for you to break yourself on the rocks you're throwing. He hasn't fought back. He's just watched you fight yourself. You realize, in the silence after you've made your final move, that you've won the battle and lost everything else. The deal is dead. Meridian is backing away. You've protected your division, but you're standing in the wreckage of your own making, and there's no one left to catch you when you fall. The final meeting is scheduled for Thursday. It's the closing argument, the moment where you present the board with the restructured deal and watch Meridian's representatives realize they've lost. You've prepared for this. You've prepared for everything. Except you haven't prepared for your body to stop listening to your commands. You're standing at the head of the conference table again, and the presentation is flawless. Your voice is steady. Your slides are precise. You walk through the numbers with the kind of certainty that comes from knowing you've already won. The board members are nodding. Merab's team is silent, which is the only confirmation you need that they understand the game is over. Then the dizziness hits. It's not subtle. It's not something you can rationalize or push through. The room tilts at an angle that shouldn't be possible, and your vision narrows to a pinpoint. You grip the table. Your hand is steady. Your hand is always steady. But everything else is dissolving. You try to keep talking. The words come out, but they sound distant, like they're coming from someone else's mouth. You can see your reflection in the glass wall behind the board members, and the woman staring back at you is barely recognizable. Pale, hollow, breaking. Your breathing is too loud. You can hear it over your own voice, which means everyone else can hear it too. The board members shift in their seats. Someone clears their throat. The silence that follows is the sound of people watching you fall. You won't fall. You don't fall. You're the woman who carries the weight, who makes the decisions no one else will touch, who stands alone at the top of this mountain and doesn't ask for help, because asking for help means admitting you need it. But your knees are buckling. The floor is moving beneath you. The room is spinning, and you're losing your grip on the edge of the table, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Then his arms are around you. Not gently, not carefully. Merab catches you with the kind of certainty that leaves no room for negotiation. His grip is solid and real and absolute. He's there before you hit the ground, and the moment his arms close around you, something breaks open inside your chest. It's not relief. It's something deeper and more dangerous than relief. Your body stops fighting. For the first time in years, you stop performing. The mask shatters. The performance ends. You're held against someone stronger than you are, and the weight you've been carrying for so long, finally finally has somewhere to rest. His heartbeat is steady and unhurried against your ear. Yours is chaotic, erratic, breaking apart. But his is calm, patient, like he's been waiting for this moment, like he knew exactly when you would break and exactly how to catch you when you did. His voice is low and certain, spoken against your hair so only you can hear it. I have you. It's not a question. It's not an offer. It's a statement of fact, delivered with the kind of authority that makes it impossible to argue. His hand is at the back of your neck, anchoring you, holding you in place. The world around you, the board, the deal, the war you've been fighting, becomes irrelevant background noise. There's only his arms around you, his heartbeat against your back, his voice in your ear, claiming something that was already his. You stop fighting. You lean into him. And in that moment, the only logical move left on the board is surrender. He doesn't ask permission. He doesn't explain what he's doing or where he's taking you. He simply moves, and you move with him because your body has stopped negotiating with your mind. The boardroom dissolves behind you. Someone calls your name, your CFO maybe, or one of the board members. But Merab's hand is at the small of your back, and his presence is a barrier between you and the rest of the world. He guides you through the hallway with the kind of authority that makes people step aside without being told. No one questions him. No one tries to stop him. His office is on the executive floor, corner windows overlooking the city. He moves you inside and closes the door with a finality that sounds like a lock clicking into place. The world outside becomes muffled, irrelevant. It's just the two of you now, and the weight of that simplicity is almost unbearable. You try to pull away. It's instinct. You've spent years maintaining control, maintaining distance, maintaining the performance of invulnerability. But his arm tightens around you, and the message is clear. That's over. I can't, you start, but your voice breaks on the second word. You can't what? Can't let him do this? Can't surrender your responsibilities? Can't admit that you were right to fall? You can, he says. His voice is low and absolute. You will. He moves you to the leather sofa in the corner of his office. Not gently, but not roughly either. Deliberately. He sits and pulls you against him, positioning your body so you're half collapsed against his chest, your head resting against his shoulder. His jacket is warm and it smells like him, something dark and grounding that your body recognizes before your mind catches up. Your hands are shaking. You realize this now, watching them tremble against the fabric of his shirt. You try to still them, but he catches your wrist and holds it in place, keeping you exactly where you are. Stop, he commands. Not angry, just certain. Stop fighting. Your phone buzzes. An email, probably. A text from your assistant. The merger deal requiring your attention. The board waiting for your next move. The world demanding that you get back to work. That you pull yourself together. That you prove you're strong enough to carry this alone. Merab reaches over and silences it without looking at the screen. That's mine to handle now, he says. His hand returns to your back, holding you in place. All of it. The merger, the board, the decisions. You're done. You want to argue. You should argue. This is your company, your fight, your win or loss to claim. But the relief that floods through you at those words is so devastating that you can't speak. You've been carrying this weight for so long that the idea of setting it down feels like falling. His other hand comes to the back of your neck, and his thumb traces the line of your jaw with a slowness that makes your breathing stutter. The intimacy isn't sexual, but it's intimate in a way that penetrates deeper than sex ever could. He's seeing you at your absolute lowest, broken and exhausted and barely holding yourself together, and he's claiming you anyway. I have you, he says again, and this time the words land differently, not as reassurance, as inevitability. His voice drops lower, meant only for you. His breath is warm against your hair as he speaks, each word deliberate and heavy with meaning. You don't have to be the strongest anymore, Kinsley. I am. The statement feels like both threat and promise simultaneously. It's a claim and a command wrapped into one. The finality in his tone makes it clear this isn't negotiable. It's inevitable. It's already decided. Your name in his mouth carries weight you didn't know it could carry. The way he says it, like he's tasting it, like it belongs to him now, redefines everything you thought you understood about power and control. His hand moves from your neck to the back of your head, anchoring you against him. Not restraining, anchoring. There's a difference, though you're only beginning to understand it. You've been running toward the next victory your entire life, he continues, his voice a low rumble against your ear. Always fighting, always proving, always alone. You want to deny it. You want to tell him he's wrong, that you chose this, that you're stronger for it. But he already knows the truth. He's been watching you break yourself on the rocks of your own ambition, and he's waited with the patience of someone who knew exactly when you would finally stop running. That ends now, he says. The certainty in those 3 words is absolute. You're mine to protect now. You're mine to carry. You're mine. The repetition of that last word settles something in your chest. Mine. Not as a cage, but as a definition. You know exactly where you stand because he's made it clear. There's no ambiguity, no performance, no exhaustion required to maintain your position. You simply exist in his claim, and that's enough. His hand slides down your spine, tracing the curve of your back with a slowness that contradicts the authority in his voice. He's not gentle, but he's not harsh either. He's thorough. He's claiming every part of you, the strength and the weakness, the brilliance and the breaking. You can rest now, he whispers. I won't let you fall again. You believe him. That's the part that terrifies you most. You believe him completely. You wake in his bed, not gradually, not with the slow emergence into consciousness that's become familiar over years of 4 a.m. starts and endless nights. You simply open your eyes, and the first thing you register is that you've slept. Actually slept. The kind of sleep where time disappears, and your body stops fighting, and your mind finally goes quiet. The room is his. You know this without asking. Everything about it speaks his language. The clean lines, the controlled darkness, the absolute absence of clutter. There's nothing here that doesn't serve a purpose. Nothing that isn't exactly where it's meant to be. You're alone in the bed, but you can hear him moving in the other room. His office, probably. Working. Always working, but the difference is that he works without the desperation that defined your own efforts. He simply possesses the ability to carry what he carries, and he doesn't need to prove it to anyone. By the time you make your way to his office, the merger is dead. You don't find out from an email or a board meeting. He tells you directly, the way he tells you everything now. Meridian Holdings has withdrawn their offer. The deal is restructured. Your division remains autonomous. The threat has been neutralized. He won by stepping in and ending the game entirely, not by fighting harder or playing smarter, but by refusing to let you destroy yourself on the battlefield. He simply moved, and the board moved with him. And suddenly the war you thought would define your career is a footnote in your life. What surprises you most is that people respect you more now. The board members who used to challenge you, who used to look for weakness in every presentation, they've changed how they speak to you. There's deference there now. But it's not the deference of fear. It's the deference of understanding. They know you belong to someone more powerful than they are, and that status supersedes your title. You're not the most powerful person in the room anymore. You're his, and that means something entirely different. His claim is a shield as much as it is a collar. You test the boundaries carefully, the way you test everything now. Can you make decisions? He lets you, but only certain ones. The operational choices, the strategic direction of your team, those remain yours. The major acquisitions, the board-level negotiations, the decisions that carry real risk, those pass through him first. You should resent it. You should feel caged. Instead, you feel protected. There's a difference between being caged and being guarded. You're learning this slowly, through small moments. When you work late, he appears in your office and takes you home without asking. When you try to skip meals, he ensures you eat. When you attempt to carry weight that's no longer yours to carry, his hand finds the small of your back and redirects you toward rest. The control is total, but it's also total protection. You realize, watching him work one evening, that you've been waiting for this your entire life. Not weakness, Permission. Permission to stop performing in vulnerability. Permission to rest. Permission to be something other than the strongest person in every room. You're sitting in his office, watching him work, and for the first time in years, your mind is quiet. No more decisions to make. No more battles to win. No more emails demanding your attention at 4 a.m. No more the weight of knowing that if you don't carry it, no one will. Just the certainty of his presence and the weight of his claim settling over you like something solid and real. Your hand rests on his desk while he works. It's the only movement in a still room. You're not doing anything, not reading, not thinking about work, not planning your next move. You're simply existing in the space he's created for you, and that's enough. He handles the responsibilities you carried with the same brilliance you brought to them, but without the desperation. He doesn't perform his strength. He simply possesses it. There's no performance required, no need to prove anything. He is what he is, and the world adjusts itself accordingly. You watch him make decisions that would have kept you awake for weeks. He makes them in minutes. He doesn't second-guess himself. He doesn't wonder if he's made the right choice. He simply decides, and then he moves forward. There's a freedom in that certainty that you've never experienced. The corporate world continues around you. Emails still arrive, board meetings still happen, your division still operates, but you're no longer at its center. You're no longer the pivot point everything rotates around. Someone else is carrying that weight now, and the relief of that removal is almost unbearable. Merab glances at you, and the acknowledgement in his gaze is complete. He sees you, not the executive, not the woman who runs the room, just you. Broken and exhausted and finally allowed to rest. And in his eyes, that's exactly who he wants. You're his, and that means you're finally safe. But surrender always comes with a reckoning. His authority extends into every corner of your life now. Where you go, what you do, how you spend your time, all of it passes through him first. He doesn't ask for explanations, he doesn't negotiate, he simply decides. And you've learned that resistance is a waste of energy you no longer have. It should feel like a cage. Every rational part of your mind tells you it should feel suffocating, limiting, a loss of the independence you've spent your entire life building. But it doesn't. It feels like finally being seen by someone who won't let you disappear. He knows exactly how breakable you are now. He's held you at your lowest point. He's felt your body give way in his arms. He's heard the silence that comes when the performance finally stops. That knowledge should terrify you. Instead, it anchors you. You realize the cost isn't your independence. It's the performance of invulnerability. You can't pretend to be unbreakable anymore, because he knows the truth. He knows the weight you carried. He knows how close you came to shattering completely. He knows every fracture line in the armor you built around yourself, and he refuses to let you rebuild it. When you try to slip back into old patterns, working late, pushing yourself harder, performing strength you don't have, he stops you. Not with anger, but with the kind of certainty that makes argument pointless. His hand finds your wrist. His voice drops lower. Not anymore. And you stop, because you know he means it, and because part of you has been waiting for someone to stop you. You discover you're stronger now, not weaker, because you're not carrying the weight alone. His protection becomes your armor. His certainty becomes your foundation. The merger that was supposed to define your career is now a footnote in your life. What matters now is the man who caught you when you fell and refused to let you stand alone again. The board still fears you, but now they fear what you represent. His claim, his protection, his absolute refusal to let anything touch what's his. You're more respected now than you ever were running the room alone. There's a paradox in that, surrender bringing more power than the performance ever did, but you've stopped trying to rationalize it. You've learned to simply accept it. She's no longer the woman running toward the next victory. Instead, you're the woman who finally stopped running. Merab's presence is constant, immovable, absolute. You've stopped testing the boundaries of his claim because you've learned they're not limitations, they're definitions. They tell you exactly where you stand, and there's comfort in that clarity. No ambiguity, no performance, no exhaustion required to maintain your position. You know what happens when you try to work late. He appears and takes you home. You know what happens when you skip meals. He ensures you eat. You know what happens when you attempt to carry weight that's no longer yours. His hand finds you and he redirects you toward rest. There's no negotiation. There's just the absolute certainty of someone who has decided how your life will operate. And the relief of that decision is devastating. The woman you were would have fought this. She would have seen it as control, as limitation, as weakness. But the woman you are now understands something different. She understands that surrender to the right person isn't weakness. It's the only logical move left on the board. His claim has become your identity. Not in a way that erases who you were, but in a way that finally allows you to rest from the performance of being her. You're his protected. You're his to carry. You're his. And in that possession, you found something that victory never gave you. The career continues. Your division still operates. But it's no longer your entire existence. You have something else now. Protection. Certainty. The simple, devastating knowledge that someone more powerful than you are has decided you're worth guarding. Her hand rests on his desk while he works, the only movement in a still room. She gave up her independence and found something she didn't know she was searching for. The question remains open. Was this surrender, or was it the only logical move left? She no longer asks herself that question. She simply exists in the certainty of his claim and the rest it provides.